So
Okay.
we're live. We're live. We're live.
We're live. We're live. We're here. We're at Facebook land. Good morning, everybody. Happy Fun Shui Friday.
Hey.
And
Cheryl. And there's three of us today.
Mm-hmm. We have a special guest today.
Special guest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're just gonna let some people pop in. And we have a special guest. Tell us who our special guest is, Cheryl.
I would be honored to tell us. I'll be honored to tell us who our guest is. I'll be honored to tell everybody who our guest is. You know, you've heard us talk in the last month, 6 weeks about this event that we're doing called Power of an Unstoppable Woman. Well, that original event was created over 2 decades ago by this incredible woman, Dr. Rose Backman. Whoa! And we wanted to have her on live here with us so you all get to see and get a little taste about this incredible woman's talents, because I'll tell you what, as soon as Anita met her, and you can share a little bit about how you met her, she knew, oh my word, we have to connect. There's stuff we have to do together. We just know there's stuff we have to do together. So, Anita, little background history.
Well, you know, I was in Mexico back in March, and a friend of mine, her name is Shanti, she was having a little girls get together because she had a couple of guests that she wanted to introduce to her community, and it happened to be Dr. Rose and Sherry, this other beautiful light that lives in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and yeah, I was blown away by the work that Dr. Rose did with the group of people, and we connected afterwards, and things just started to blossom.
Yeah. So today we're going to do things similarly, a little bit different, of course, because, you know, it's Fun Shui Friday and we have to have fun. But what do? We always get a topic and a theme from the Crystal Paradise card deck, Terah Kathryn Collins, our teacher, mentor, and friend. And I'm just going to insert that right now, Anita is she's leading the Western School of Feng Shui practitioner training coming up in September. And you can put some information about that in the chat, Anita. But I just wanted to drop that in because so many people have asked us, where did you learn? Like, how did you learn? Yada, yada, yada. Anita teaches this. She's the only one in Canada that can lead it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's where I learned. I learned from her. I'm continuing to learn from her. And now I'm learning from Dr. Rose too. So yay.
Yeah. And actually, you know, I had a lady call me last week from Massachusetts. Nice. And she wants to come to Red Deer, Alberta. So you just never know. Nope, good morning, Paula. Thanks for joining us live. Come on in, everybody, with our special guest, Dr. Rose Backman, all the way from Puerto Vallarta. And we're just going to let some people come in. And Cheryl, you obviously had a card fly out of the deck.
One card fly out of the deck, you betcha. I love it. And it's probably, the number is associated, well, close. Anyway, it's the number 14 card, Gardens. So one of my favorite topics. Anita knows me well enough. Most of them probably know
her yard is amazing. Yeah, just saying.
So let's see what else comes up. And we'll put it all together. So explain to everybody, Anita, how we're going to do things today so that they have a little bit of advance notice, or do you want people to come in?
We're going to do things a little bit different. Okay. So good morning, Robin. Good morning, Paula. And so we're going to talk about, good morning, Gail. We're going to talk about, of course, the cards that come up, but also Dr. Rose, her specialty is working with her own Backman technique, using kinesiology and getting to the issues in the tissues.
I love that. I just have to say.
Yeah. And we want to try something a little different. We want to connect that because we know that the inner world, whatever is going on in here, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's connected to and being reflected in the outer environment of your home, and vice versa. Whatever's going on out here is having an effect on and being reflected here. And so Dr. Rose, gets to the issue in the tissue really quickly. And we want to see if we can link that to what's going on in your home environment. So we're going to be asking for someone to put up their hand and join us here on Zoom. So think about maybe a question that you have relating to your health, to your relationships, or your finances, something that you would like to have resolution over, and Dr. Rose will help you, and then we're going to see if we can connect the dots to the outer world. Does that sound like fun?
I think that sounds like fun. Maybe we should let Dr. Rose speak for maybe we should let Dr. Rose speak for a minute.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to do the little things over here.
You're going to do the little things over there. So the other cards that came up, and then we're going to have Dr. Rose chat a little bit, are the number 19 ceilings card. And I'm already going, I know how that's connecting.
Yep, I do.
And the number 17 foyer, which was interesting because we were just at a community this week. And Anita, did this card not come up multiple times?
Just about every time. Yep.
Interestingly enough. So Dr. Rose, please, without further ado, yay!
Hi, everybody. Well, thanks, ladies. This is fun. So I want everybody to understand something that they already know, but maybe they've forgotten, is that you know your own answer. Your body knows everything, but we have programming. So when you were born, you have the genetics of your parents and their parents and their parents. And according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, he says this: you are not just made up of what I said. You are made up of generations back of hundreds to thousands to possibly millions of years. And this is why we don't understand why our children, or why we, or who we marry, or our family members, or our friends that we bring into our life, why we do what we do. But there's a lot of unfinished business for all of us, but you have a lot of power to be able to control that. I believe that. I want to share with you quickly that I ended up marrying somebody that I knew I shouldn't have married at the age of 22. And he was this gorgeous god of a Greek. And I knew the first day, you were in trouble. But my mind, my ego said, you can fix him. Well, every woman knows you can't fix anybody. They have to want it. So I ended up being with him for 9 years, and we had a son, and it was the toughest 9 years of my life. And he was murdered outside of our home in 1984. And that was the worst day of my life, but also one of the most, I want to say, I'm looking for a word. One of the best lessons I ever learned in my life is to follow your gut. So from that experience, I ended up getting into this business over 35 years ago, and just meeting people in a small town in Saskatchewan saying, I didn't know much about health, but I always knew about alternative medicine. At some level, always knew about the interest I had, is what I mean. And I always went to the health food store. And here you are, when you follow your knowingness, you follow that pathway, it doesn't matter if it's going to be the man or the woman that you want. It doesn't matter if it pertains to financial or relationships, or maybe a business that you want to open up. You know all your own answers. My question to you is this: do you listen? So I'm going to leave it there. Do you listen?
That's a good question. Hell no. It's probably an answer that sometimes, but more often than not, probably hell no.
Yeah, and I should say your body knows all the answers. So all of your organs hold emotions. Every organ holds at least 6 to 9 emotions minimum. And what I can do is read your body for you and tell you what emotion, at what age this happened, how far back this happened, what side of the family, how to break the beliefs through forgiveness. And then you have to decide, do you want to practice it? Because here's the big question. Do you want to jump out of your pool of suffering?
Great question.
Yes.
Some people are so accustomed to it, and that is their comfort zone.
It is. It's totally their comfort zone. And you know, I realized something too, because my practice is about 95% women and 5% men. Mm-hmm. The beautiful thing I have is all these extra men coming into these types of sessions. They never did before. And I'm learning a few things, because I have a gentleman that's a savant. And I didn't know what the hell a savant was. And so this gentleman is not the normal gentleman, because he has lots of emotions. And he has a lot of questions, and he's very intellectual. It's all about intellect. It's not about feelings. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to teach somebody, you know, while you're online. It's like, you need to feel. Well, of course I feel. No, you don't. You're in your head. You think you're feeling, but da-da-da-da. So it's interesting working with him now for about 2 years. I see a big change in him, because he actually is feeling. He didn't know what it was like to feel. Only think. Just think. So can you imagine going out with somebody who only thinks and doesn't feel?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's going to make you feel like you're not loved.
And you know what? That's what everyone is just seeking, right? Love. Love is the answer. I mean, it sounds cliche, but really and truly, you know, Cheryl and I were just out at our Indigenous community doing some work this week, and really and truly, people just want to be acknowledged, and they want to be loved. Yeah. And
anyway, you need touch. You need touch. Never forget that.
And touched. Oh, we did lots of that. So anyways, that was very cool. Nobody has put up their hand yet, so we'll just wait. Okay.
Well, let's start talking.
Don't be afraid. Yeah. Please don't be afraid, because you already know what you need to know. Now it's up to you to take action and get to the nitty-gritty of creating whatever.
And you know what? If somebody doesn't want to join us live here on Zoom, you can definitely pop a question in the chat box, and we can do that as well.
Absolutely.
Right? Sure. So let's talk about some of the cards then, Anita, and give people a chance. Yeah. And Dr. Rose, love to hear your opinion on how some of these environment, because that's what Anita and I are about, is the surrounding environment, tie in maybe to some of the possible beliefs that we're holding. So I can say the first one is the number 14, gardens. We've got number 19, ceilings, and number 17, foyer. I want to start with the number 17 card, Anita, because it came up so much this week.
Yep.
So let's start with talking about the importance of the foyer.
Well, you know, this morning I had to run out before and pick up my youngest grandson. He had his first ever sleepover at a friend's.
Nice.
And so when I came up to the door to pick him up, the first thing that I noticed coming up the driveway were a plethora of weeds along the driveway. Then coming up to the steps of the house, there was a great big, huge planter that had dead flowers in it. And then I came up to this big, beautiful covered deck area to the front door. And there was nothing on the front door on this beautiful deck. There was a withered floral wreath on the door. So now, interesting, of course, you know, my feng shui eyes are not always on, but they were on this morning. And I was thinking about the person that lives there, and that this person is not caring for herself, because how you respect, care for, and value anything is how you respect, care for, and value everything, including yourself. And so her own energy is being, the life force is being sucked out of her.
Right out of her.
And there are weeds growing in her garden. There, she has no time, no energy. She's feeling completely exhausted and drained, and not getting any support because the deck is completely empty. It's not inviting. It's not telling me to come on in, welcome to this beautiful space. In fact, what it's telling me is I'd rather be left alone. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone to my own little suffering abyss, whatever it is.
What did you say it was called, Dr. Rose? Suffering pool?
Are you willing to let go of your pool of suffering?
Pool of suffering.
Yeah. And so just that little, so that's the foyer, right? Mm-hmm. So the foyer, that entrance to your home is just like the entrance to how we show up in the world, right? So the first thing that you see when you meet somebody, you don't hear them, you don't talk to them, you see them, mm-hmm. right? So you see them if they're smiling. Cheryl's always smiling. She said, what's your quote, Cheryl? Let's put that in there.
Oh, sure. My quote is, when your heart is happy, your face smiles.
Yeah. When your heart is happy, your face smiles. And so that's the first thing so this right here is my personal foyer, and it tells a lot about a person. Mm-hmm. So that was really interesting. And like you said, Cheryl, the foyer card came up a lot when we were working with our Indigenous community. And again, it relates to, what people want to show the world, mm-hmm. right? If they are happy and it, their face is going to show it, but also the face of their home, the foyer is the face of your home, and it is reflecting your inner world. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So, any questions so far in the chat? Putting up their hand.
Oh, good morning, Marta. Nice to have you join us. Question. Marta has a question. Can we address the irrational fear of money, accounting, banking, even government? Mine makes no sense in this current lifetime. Okay, Marta. Let's, So is that a question? Do you want to, Marty, do you want to join us on Zoom? I think you should.
A little delay for her to respond to. So while we're waiting for Marty, mm-hmm. Dr. Rose, do you want to jump in there? I know you
Sure. Do. So really, it's a money question. So why do I have money issues? Okay, well, first of all, she's shut down. I can't read her. So I got to find out what's shutting her down. So let me just see. So it's subconscious, because she struggles from trauma. So she struggles with the trauma that she's gone through in this lifetime. She's still traumatized, whether she has that awareness or not. And it's kind of interesting because I remember a client, I told her, I said, you're totally traumatized. And she was in her 50s and she goes, no, I don't. And I said, you drink a bottle of wine a night. I said, you just told me. You told me that you would cut off your left arm before you'd give up that bottle of white wine. And you told me you start at 5. And that bottle of wine lasts you till 10. So what do you mean you're not traumatized? I said, there's the release of the trauma every day, somewhat, is drinking that bottle of wine. That's what she used. Somebody else, hey, I know a lady, a former client, and she's a shopaholic. What did she love? Bedding. The more bedding and the more bedspreads and the more comforters and the more pillows. And she hid them under all the beds so her husband never saw them, and she hid them in closets. She was totally traumatized by her mother. Her mother found fault with her 24/7. She was 52 years old at the time. And now, guess what? I have not spoken to her for probably 5 years. Mm-hmm. Now she's a crippled up old woman like her mother.
She didn't want to do the work.
She didn't, well, I mean, she did the work, but she hasn't done any work for 15, 18 years now. So she started hurting herself. Her knee, well, knee is all about not moving forward, whether it's your male side or your female side. So when it comes to money, what are you worth, darling? What are you worth? Because somebody else has an opinion of us as a child, that doesn't mean we are that way. They are trying to mold us without even knowing it the way they see themselves. So do you feel deserving and worthy? You know, when people say to me, well, I can only work at a lunch counter. It's the only job I can get. I said, okay, that's fine. Then work at that lunch counter and be really happy and be very, very grateful that you have that job, because you can still make tips in these little small communities. You can make tips. It's all about you being happy and being grateful, and you're going to make more money and create more money. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be offered an opportunity to work in a dining room. And then your next opportunity is you're going to walk into a high-end dining room and you'll make $300 to $500 a night in tips. So everybody knows this is a mindset, but your beliefs make or break you. Please remember that.
So I think Marty is joining us, and I think this definitely ties into that feeling card, right?
Absolutely. Again, so I said I knew what it was going to come up with.
We can't make this stuff up, right? So the ceiling card comes in because we know that the sky is the limit, but sometimes we put our own ceiling or cap on, just as you just described, Dr. Rose, right? And so what is your ceiling? So Marty, meet Dr. Rose.
There's a lot of background noise going on, Marty. Are you listening to this or something else? We'll have to get you to shut off whatever else is going on there. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I turned it off, but
that's okay. We're good now.
Yay! We're good now. Welcome, Marty.
Good morning. Sure, that was on the same time. Yeah.
Yay! Marty, Dr. Rose. Dr. Rose,
hi,
Marty.
Beautiful.
And go.
Hello, beautiful.
And go. Yeah.
Okay.
Feeling, money.
So, sweetheart, what are you stubborn about when it comes to earning some money? What are you struggling with?
Struggling? Well, the self-worth's always been, the thing is that I've been doing healing for years and years, and I've been working on it, and I'm not getting to the bottom, right?
Well, excuse me, what do you mean? See, when people say I've been working on it for 15 years, what are you missing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so are you better today financially than you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Are you in better shape?
No, because what happens is that I think I found a solution for my health, but I would work until I'm in burnout, and then I would not work. So then I use the money that I made. So it's up and down, up and down. So I go from a lot of money to no money.
So who taught you that? That's a learned behavior. You saw that in your household somewhere growing up. Tell me about your dad, your mom. How did they earn money?
My mom was a stay-at-home, and she did some sewing for people. My dad had a regular job and a regular salary, and he wanted me to do that. And I'm the one that said, no, that's not what I want. And I went into contract business.
You're in the contract business?
I worked on a contract basis. I'm in mineral exploration.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
I'm in mineral exploration, so I go on projects, and I used to work like full time for 2-3 months, and then come home and have a longer break.
Okay, so let me test you physically first. Okay, let's test you physically. Okay, there you're open. So right allergy, left allergy, metabolic, yeast, virus, heart, blood, hemoglobin. T1, T4, T3 adrenals. Number one, you're stressed. Your adrenal glands need support. Lack of lubrication, gut and pus, ovary, uterus, large intestine, small intestine, sigmoid, colon, pancreas. You have a pancreas issue. So let's just deal with two things. Number one, your adrenal glands. You need to support your adrenal glands. Go to the best health food store you know. Only speak to the person that has worked there the longest. They have the most education, and say, what is the best product for adrenals and the best product for your pancreas? So somebody in your family was an alcoholic, loved carbs or sugars. There's an issue there. Who was that?
My parents didn't drink, but sugar was a big issue.
Okay. And what about for you?
For me, well, yeah, you know, we couldn't have a meal without dessert.
No, but how did you live your life? Do you live your life with eating a lot of sugar?
Yes, but,
okay.
But now I've stopped, and I discovered fasting, and that is making a big difference. So I'm reversing that. Yes.
Okay, so when you fast, that's great, but you still have to balance. See, look at it this way. Where people get confused is that they don't know they have to support their body. They think if they do something like fasting, as an example, or you're cutting back on this, cutting back on that, they don't understand they have to fix the organ. When an organ is damaged, it's damaged. It's like a tire that's slowly losing its air. It's eventually going to go flat. So it's very important that you look after your adrenals. You can contact me. I'll test you. I won't charge you for it, to see how many products you need, how many pills you need, all of that stuff. That's not an issue. But you have to deal, the pancreas is totally related to sugar. And the emotions are lack of control, guilt, overwhelmed, never feeling good enough. Those are the major emotions. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. That's my mother's way.
Okay, but that's your way too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So, and the adrenals are, I'm never enough. No matter what I do, I'm never enough. Right?
Yeah,
because
you're a pattern, yes.
So you need to talk to that little girl inside of you. That little girl needs to hear what mommy and daddy didn't know how to say to you. Do you remember? That little girl needs to remember and say to her what mommy and daddy never said to her. What did you need to hear from your parents? What was the words you needed to hear that you never heard from them? I love you.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you.
It's something that we never said. To me, it's something in the American movies, right?
Ah, okay. So that little girl now needs to hear from the adult in you that she's enough. And as soon as you start working on yourself, I want you to say this. I forgive myself for believing no matter what I do, I'm never enough. Can you say that, please?
Yeah, I forgive myself for believing that I'm never enough.
I forgive myself for believing no matter what I do, I'm never enough.
I forgive myself for believing no
matter what I do,
I'm never enough.
And take a deep breath. I forgive my parents for not knowing how to teach me that I'm enough.
I forgive my parents for not knowing how to teach me that I'm never enough.
I forgive my parents for teaching me I have to suffer financially.
I forgive myself. I forgive my parents for teaching me that I have to suffer financially.
Now, did you catch yourself? Because you basically were going to say, I forgive myself, and then you turned it into, I forgive my parents.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one, but yeah.
Well, that's normal. No, that's totally normal.
Okay.
It's, honey, there's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're a very talented, beautiful lady. And that lady inside of you just needs a little bit of support in how to realize how perfect she is, and that she can slowly turn all this around and say, wow, I am priceless. There is no value that somebody can take. Nobody can take away my value. I'm priceless. So now your parents are teaching you for you to love you, because they did the best they could. This is one thing I believe. Even if it's lousy, I believe most of us do the best we can as a parent. No matter how bad it is, it's the best. Sorry?
I know that. And even if we never said I love you, it was obvious, like it was said in a different manner.
Yes. So how did you know you were loved by your mother?
Well, they always took care of us, always protected us, and made sure that we didn't get in trouble.
And how about your father? How did you know he loved you?
He was more positive about how he felt, actually, which is unusual for a man, right? But yeah, he would be more open.
He was more open. So how did he show you? How did he show you?
It was still kind of distant, but it was like we were a family unit, right? We do everything as a family. So that way we were always included. So
you felt like you belonged.
Yeah. But they weren't like doing enough. Like even if we had good grades and we behaved, then it was never.
You weren't rewarded.
No.
Okay, so I need you to reward yourself. How do you reward yourself?
Yeah, it used to be with food or ice cream, but not anymore. I've gone beyond that. So that's a big progress for me.
How do you reward yourself?
I don't think I do, really. Probably.
Well, maybe it's honoring your body now. It's honoring your body now.
Yeah, but maybe buying something too, like
buying something.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because with the money, if the money was tight, like for me, it's like if I want something, I just go get
it. Good. That's a good thing. You just go get it.
Yeah.
So remember that little girl, she needs lots of love from you. So when you're walking by the mirror, you go, hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful. I want you to say this. I forgive myself for being so hard on myself all these years.
I forgive myself for being so hard on myself all these years.
And breathe.
So I get most of it, but how does it translate to fear? Like fear of looking at.
Fear of what?
Fear of looking at the accounting. Fear of money. Fear of looking.
Well,
there is fear of receiving. Fear of looking at the paycheck. Fear of looking how much income tax.
That's your mother. That's your mother.
Okay, I have to interject here, ladies, because we are over our time. And you know what, Marty, stay on, and you can definitely ask Dr. Rose some more questions, but I want to honor everybody's time that's joined us live this morning. And, this conversation could go on because it definitely relates. I mean, when we look at the card ceilings that come up, right? So we put our own ceiling or limitations on whatever it is that we do based on those limiting beliefs that we, as Dr. Rose said, that we picked up from our parents. And, you know, it wasn't their fault. They only did the best they could at the time with what they had and what they knew. And then we look at the word gardens, and guess what? We all have, you know, we all have a beautiful garden, and it's the seeds that we sow and what flowers get to blossom and bloom and make the world a more beautiful place, because each one of us is that flower. And when we're living in our authentic self, when we're healing those past traumas and family wounds, then we get to be that beautiful flower giving beauty out into the world, right? Exactly. So that's really what we're here to do.
I want to add into that.
Else you want to add to that?
I do, because all of the cards today totaled, and you know we always talk about numerology, number 5. And what is the number 5? Change.
Oh,
so Marty, you're in the
number
perfect place.
5 is pregnant with possibility.
That's 6.
Oh, that's 6. Well, the number 5 looks like it's almost
well,
5
is a very stern, strict top
with
a rolly bottom.
Rolly bottom, that's right. And of course, we always do this, and it's about change, right? It's about transformation, transforming those limiting beliefs. See how they're being anchored in our environment.
Exactly.
You know, we all have work to do. And if you've enjoyed this episode today, Cheryl, tell them.
Oh my gosh. October. There's 3 ways. There's 5 here. There's 3 ways that you can get more of Dr. Rose live and in person. So she is going to be in Regina, Saskatchewan on October 8th. She's going to be in Edmonton, Alberta on October 1st in Regina. That's what it was. Yep. October 15 in Edmonton, Alberta. And she's going to be live and in person with Anita and I here in Red Deer, and all of you that want to join us, October 21st and 22nd. So yay for Dr. Rose. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Rose. Marty, I just want to send such appreciation, because the courage that you've shown by coming on with us live on Zoom is huge.
Yes, absolutely.
Huge. So thank you for stepping into your courage. You don't want to stay in your pool. I can tell. You don't want to stay in your pool. You've had enough of being in the deep end of the damn pool. She's wanting to get the hell out, right? So for the rest of you, thank you for joining us live. Thank you for watching the replay. And of course, every episode we have is on our YouTube channel, all in alignment. Oh, I'm pointing behind Anita. All in alignment. Thank you all.
Okay, and we'll see you next Fun Shui Friday. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Bye. Bye-bye.